Hello everyone, this is JJ once again with another episode for the JJ Connections YouTube channel. For those who don't know me, I am a watch trader. I own a luxury watch trading company here in Central Florida. We've been doing this for the past 2 years and it's been going absolutely great. This year we put a goal on ourselves that we were going to do more social media content, so this is an attempt to do so. Today we're going to be talking about a beginner's guide to different brands in multiple socioeconomic pools. In some of our previous videos, we spoke about how when you're in a social setting, you're in a bar, restaurant, wedding, people are going to judge you because of the accessories that you're going to be using. So as soon as you're out, people can know where you fit on a certain socioeconomic level. If you're wearing a certain type of accessory, some certain types of shoes. And one of the questions that I get asked mostly as a watch trader is, hey JJ, I'm starting to do my watch collection, but I only have this amount in budget. So what type of brands would you recommend for me to start? And that is an absolutely great question because it shows initiative in trying to create a watch collection, because I know that that's the beginning of a really dark path to just start watch collecting for the rest of your life, because it's just like Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank says, once you start watch trading, you can't go back. So let's start. We are going to start with a socioeconomic pool of $100 to $400. Honorable mentions, I gotta say Fossil and Michael Kors. Those are together because the same company owns them and there's the same movement. Fossil is the one who actually started my watch trading career, and I have a very soft part of my heart for them. And Michael Kors, I really like them, even though that they're a fashion brand, and watch traders absolutely hate fashion brands in my line of industry. I really like their designs. I think that they figured out exactly how a woman likes the rhinestones or the cubic zirconia all organized inside of a watch. And I think that for $200, $300, they're absolutely great gifts whenever you want to gift a gift for Christmas or for a birthday. They're absolutely great, and they have that big wow factor. So every time that I've actually gifted a Michael Kors, I have a great reaction. So because of that, I think we should mention them. And also honorable mention Bulova. Bulova has a line about Frank Sinatra. They're doing collaborations with Mark Anthony. They have an expensive line called the Bulova Accutron, which is $2,000, $3,000. It has wires and capacitors inside, and it's powered differently. It came after the quartz watch, after the 1930s, but it's still just powered differently, and it's absolutely beautiful watch. But those are just honorable mentions. Ultimately, I think that the best watch brand in the $100 to $400 range is definitely Citizen. Which models specifically? I gotta say that the Citizen ProMaster, the Citizen Blue Angels, and the Citizen Navihawk, those are absolutely great models that everybody should at least have one in their collection. So for those of you who don't know, Citizen, and not every Citizen watch has this, they've patented a way to power their watch called the Eco Drive. And the Eco Drive is basically, they use the outside sapphire crystal, and it's basically a loop where you take all types of light. It could be artificial light or it could be natural light, and it just funnels to a certain part of the watch where it powers a battery, and it'll never run out. I don't know about the new ones, but I know about old technology and Eco Drive from the 2000, and believe me, they are still running to this day. So they're absolutely great. The Citizen Blue Angels, some of them are ProMaster, but not every ProMaster is a Blue Angel. The same with the Navihawks. There's some ProMaster Navihawks, but there's also some Navihawks by themselves. These are great designs. Some are divers, some are aviator watches, especially the Blue Angels and Navihawks. But they're a great brand. They have a great movement. They have great designs, and it's a great company all around to start your watch collection from $100 to $400 range. So moving on, actually this is probably the most common question I have as a watch trader when I deal with my clients is if I want to start my watch collection below $1,000. So that's between the $400 and the $1,000 range. And honorable mentions, we're going to find there's some Seikos, we're going to find there's some Hamiltons, and we're going to find them some Orients. Seiko and Orient are Japanese, Hamilton is American. But unfortunately, everybody has to step aside with the company that actually has been absolutely on fire these past few years, and that is Tissot, especially the Tissot PRX and the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. These two designs, they're based on 1970s design, which is very, very similar to the Rolex Land Dweller that just came out in Watches and Wonders in 2025. But the Tissot PRX 80, it's a very, very sleek watch, which has the band together with the case and the bezel all together. It comes in quartz, and they're ranged around the $400 to $600 range. And then you have the Powermatic 80, which are around the $800 range. They come in different dials. Their design is absolutely beautiful. And they literally, you're going to hear a lot of influencers online say this, and I'm going to repeat it because it's very, very true. They are basically the ones who brought Tissot back on the map on the watch industry. Everybody wants them. And you could get them fairly inexpensive in the gray market. So if anybody's looking for one of those, just please reach out. Just to let you know, I actually bought an $800 Tissot, and I bought it for $400, and then I sold it for a little bit of margin on top of that later. So that is a great that's a great price for it. Moving on to the $1,000 to $3,000 range, this is where watch traders like myself are going to consider you to be a true watch collector. Once you break over the $1,000 threshold, now you are investing significant amount of assets from your day-to-day, from your salary or from your job, to basically put on a briefcase in your home and use this asset whenever you feel like it. An asset that is going to get damaged, an asset that is going to see mud, is going to see water, is going to see salt. So the fact that you're putting this amount of assets above $1,000 into an accessory that you're going to be wearing that can potentially get damaged, it says a lot about a person. And between the $1,000 and $3,000, and we start considering you a true watch collector, we're going to have some honorable mentions in Longines, which is one of the oldest companies in the watch industry. We're going to have Tag Heuer, which everybody knows them because of their coalitions with Formula One. You're going to have a company called Oris, especially their model called Aquis, which is a very beautiful watch. But the best brand between the $1,000 and $3,000 range is without a doubt the sister of Rolex, Tudor. Tudor is, I feel bad for Tudor, frankly, because everybody just talks trash about them. Because they're just the Rolex sister, and they're trying to be Rolex. Everybody who buys a Tudor is because they want to buy a Rolex, but they don't have the money. I completely and utterly disagree. I have bought and sold multiple Tudors in the past, and frankly, their design, their movements, they speak for themselves. And I can understand that argument that some haters in the internet basically say, if the personality of a Rolex user is basically the same personality of a Tudor user, but instead of buying a Rolex, they buy a Tudor, and then they have that same back and forth with you. It is not like that at all. Tudor watch owners and Tudor watch wearers have their own personality. They're basically two different people. Just to give you an example, I'm in engineering sales in my day job, and I used to have a customer who was a Rolex wearer, and his right-hand man was a Tudor wearer, and when you spoke to them, they were just completely different. They valued different things. Their communication was different. The way you go about things are absolutely different with both of them separately. So Tudor, especially right now in Watches and Wonders 2025, they came out with some absolutely beautiful designs, especially in all burgundy bezel and dial. They came out with the Black Bay 68, I apologize, with the Black Bay 68, which is basically their Black Bay 58, which is their most famous watch, and they just upped it up a little bit bigger on the case size, especially for us big guys with big wrists. So don't sleep on Tudor, because you're going to find them really cheaply online. They retail for $4,000 and $5,000. You can find them between the $1,000 and $3,000 range, and they're absolutely fine watches, absolutely fine. From moving on to the $3,000 to $8,000 range, this is personally my favorite range. There's something special between the $3,000 and $8,000 range. It's a lot of money for a lot of people, but it's not a lot of money once you start watch collecting. It's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. If you're a person that has a good career and you're trying to buy your first really good watch, I would always recommend to start at the $3,000 range. It's basically a level where the higher watch collectors, the higher watch traders, when they look down and see where are you swimming in which pool, they start really looking at the $3,000 range as the $1,000 range is your beginners, the $3,000 range is your middle, basically. Like, you have some skin in the game, and now you're choosing watches that other people might like or might want, especially those higher traders. So honorable mentions, you're going to have some Breitlings here, you're going to have some Grand Seikos here. And by the way, when we talk about these socioeconomic pools, I'm talking about the gray market. There's a lot of watches, and a lot of these brands are going to go way above this number right here, but unfortunately, the store can sell it to you at whatever price they deem fit. I'm talking about the true value of the watch. I'm talking about if you go out there to a casino and you put this watch on the table and you say, give me this amount of value in chips, some people are going to instantly going to look online for what is the value of this watch? What are other people willing to pay for this asset? And that's the true value of this particular asset. So that's why I put these in different socioeconomic pools. So from the $3,000 to $8,000, we have Breitling, Grand Seiko, Cartier, Panerai, and obviously the one and only, my favorite, Omega. Omega is going to have so many different models, like the same as each and every single one of these brands. They're going to have models in the $1,000 to $2,000 range, and they're going to have models in the $44,000 range. But they are mostly known for watches that trade on a certain particular circle. The $3,000 to $8,000 range is basically Omega's the owner of that pool, especially on their Seamaster 300 line, which is this beautiful Seamaster 300 Great White, which I absolutely love. This is what gave me one of my first successes in the watch trading industry, and I've bought this multiple times, probably at least 10 or 12 times, and it always does well because it's very coveted. It goes with everything. The black rubber band puts it on a casual aspect, and if you buy the bracelet, puts it on a more fine aspect. But my personal favorite are the ones with 18 karat gold. It could be Seamaster 300s with yellow gold, or they could be Seamaster 300s with yellow gold. And there's multiple variations. There's green, there's blue, there's white, black, and gray. And they just came up last year with some new ones called summer blues, which are just a different gradient of blue between the bezel and the dial. It's more clear on the middle, a little bit more dark on the sides. But yeah, if you want to start with something absolutely great, something that people are going to recognize from afar, go with the Omega Seamaster. They also have some other things that you could be looking at, like for example the Seamaster Speed, the Omega Speedmaster. Omega Speedmaster was the first watch on the moon. It really started as a watch for racers, but then they NASA issued basically a comunicado where they asked 15 watch companies to present a patent for a watch that's going to go to the moon and needed to withstand different temperatures and pressures and velocities and all this other stuff. Only 4 brands came through, and the winner was the Omega Speedmaster. So we can talk about that on another video, but that's actually a very, very interesting history of Omega. Moving on, from between 8,000 and 15,000, the honorable mentions, we're going to have Zenith, which is probably the best movement in the watch industry. Jaeger LeCoultre, they're absolutely great. The reversal specifically, it's a polo watch. IWC, Ulysse Nardin. But unfortunately, from 8 to 15, I think you guys know who I'm about to mention is the king of the watch industry, Rolex. Rolex is basically the US dollar for the watch industry. We use Rolex as they go up and as they go down, the rest of the watch industry basically goes up and down in value. That's how much they are of significance to the watch industry. Their significance comes from the fact that our market is the one that recognizes it the most. When you're out there, you need to be a geek like me to know all these brands and all these models and what they represent. But ultimately, you can be just a regular person and you can recognize Rolex from afar. And it's that first green flag in the successful aspect of a professional that you can say, I made it. So Rolex is king on that. Above $15,000, we're gonna have a few honorable mentions. First of all, Rolex, because Rolex has some really good models above 15,000. But they're relatively. Besides the Daytona, there's a few more that I can mention, but their pool is more between the 8 and 15. We have Audemars Piguet, which a lot of people recognize them due to wrappers. We have Vacheron Constantin, which is an absolutely great brand, but they only have one watch that is really known, which is the Overseas. We have also Richard Mille, which they're good. I don't love them, frankly. Their movements are not absolute. They're not out of this world, but they are of use for something. But there's just one and only king in the watch industry above $15,000, and that's Patek Philippe. Patek Philippe is a company that was started in 1839, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 1839. Yeah, and in 1845, they parted ways, the original owners, and it's just gone through 2 decades of just going up and down, and another family bought them, and they've been supplying watches for other people, and the same way that business goes. Their history really started getting some traction when they started supplying watches for Queen Victoria. So once they garnered watches to English royalty, basically the rest is history. They have been the brand that has been recognized for class, ultimate class, and just prestige. Their models like the Nautilus and the Aquanaut. As soon as Gerald Genta designed that case back in the 80s. I mean, they've been the kings of the watch industry when it comes to a certain particular socioeconomic level. They also have some other models like the Golden Ellipse and the Gondolo, which have great bracelets, but they're not as known as the Aquanaut and the Nautilus. So I guess those are the best brands, to be honest. Patek Philippe, you gotta check them out. Once you start going as a watch collector and you go through all the levels, I hope that maybe you one day have the opportunity to own a Patek Philippe, own how it feels, own what it represents. And I wish that I could see you at some point on that socioeconomic level with that confidence in yourself. And if you have some pictures of Patek Philippe, just please shoot them in the comments. Shoot me some other brands that maybe I have missed. If you disagree with this list, also shoot it in the comments. I'm going to debate you. So please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're going to be talking multiple different things on our other episodes. And please add me on Instagram. Shoot me a message if you're looking for your first luxury watch. Thank you.